Hello and welcome to the disassembly video of the 02C85 and 10C18 air motor, the 340-2 motor. Both motors are the same internally but have external differences. The 10C18 has longer tie rods than the 02C85. The underside of the flange on the 10C18 has a blow-off valve where the 02C85 does not, and uses a port plug. The 10C18 also has a longer protection cover than the C85. Other than these few differences, the air motors are identical. To perform the disassembly, we will need the following tools: a table vise, a flat blade screwdriver, a small pick, a smaller type vise grip, a 10mm deep well socket with wrench, a 10mm and 16mm combination wrench, along with an impact wrench and a 24mm deep well socket.
We'll begin by using the 10mm socket and wrench to loosen the 3 nuts holding the outer body to the lower flange. Once all 3 nuts are removed, you can pull up and remove the outer body cover and set aside. We'll remove the top reversing plate using a pick to remove the outer and inner seals, showing the seat that the valve seals on, and then we will remove the valve using a vise grip and a 16mm combination wrench to loosen the valve from the control rod. There is Loctite on this thread, so it may be a little difficult, but using the vise will help with that issue. Once it's loosened, use the screwdriver to support the control rod so it doesn't fall through, and unloosen the valve, showing both sides of the valve with the rubber seats. Then you can remove the full piston assembly and cylinder from the flange by pulling up and away. Then pulling apart the lower reversing body using a pick to remove the cylinder seal, and a screwdriver or Allen wrench to push out the seal holder. Using your fingers to pinch the O-ring on the seal holder, you can use the pick again to remove the O-ring from the seal holder. Do not worry about damaging any of the rings or seals, as we will be replacing them during the rebuild. Next, you will slide off the cylinder from the piston assembly, checking the inside walls for any damage or wear. Then using the pick again to remove the piston O-ring. Now we'll need to use the vise, and you can use a screwdriver or the Allen wrench through the bottom rod connection to help support the piston in the vise so it doesn't turn, and mount it in the vise as shown. Now we have to remove the piston screw to separate the 2 parts of the piston. using a 24mm deep well socket and an impact. That will help to loosen, as there usually is a significant amount of glue on the threads of the bolt and the piston body. Once it's loosened, you can remove the upper portion of the piston, and that allows you to remove the control rod. There are two springs, one on the control rod and one underneath the control rod, as shown here, that will need to be removed. There can be a lot of excess glue on the threads of the lower portion of the piston and on the bolt itself. That will need to be cleaned before reassembly. You can see the excess in these pictures. Next, we will need to remove the U-seal from the center of the flange. Again, don't worry about damage, but you'll use a screwdriver to pry out the U-seal. We will be replacing that on the rebuild, and the piston O-ring itself using the pick. Lastly, we will be using a 17mm combination wrench to loosen and remove the blow-off valve from the lower flange. This will conclude the air motor disassembly. Thanks for watching.